Let's assemble the golf bag gift card holder. So this piece is half of the main portion of the golf bag, and I'm just folding down on all the score lines. Next, I have this piece that looks a little bit like a sun. I'm just folding down on all the score lines. I'm going to open up my box. So the top of my bag has the piece that has the cutouts in it. I have a short panel, and then I have 3 panels that are the same size. So in the middle panel, I want to take my ruler, measuring 4 inches from the score line at the top. I'm going to put glue that top tab, then placing it so that my tab is folded under and right up at that score line and between these 2 folds. I'm just going to put glue on both tabs that are on either side, folding them over so that the tabs are straight and between the fold lines on both sides. That'll make my box start taking shape, adhering those tabs to the side like so. And that creates a little platform within my box. Just putting glue on the 2 remaining tabs on each side, gluing them down. So these 2 tabs at the front get folded downwards. Next, I'm going to put glue on that first tab that's right adjacent to the panel with the holes in it. I'm just going to glue it down. I want that cut line to be right up against the score line. And I'm going to put glue on the tab right next to it and glue it in position as well, with the cut edge right against the score. Continuing around with the next tab and gluing it like so. And then the next tab, and then the last tab. And so next I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to put glue on these 2 tabs at the front, glue them to the front panel. And this one I'm gluing it to the tab for the front panel. And then I'm putting glue all over that side tab. So I want the cut line to be just against the score line of the tab. And then I'm going to put glue on all 5 of these tabs at the bottom, close that flap. Just going to flip it over, and I'm going to go in there with my bone folder and just spread the glue on all those tabs. And so the other one goes together the exact same way. There's just a different number of holes in the top. So next I'm going to fold up the pockets on the sides of my golf bag. All 3 of them go together more or less the same way. But the first thing I've done is I've folded down on all the score lines. When I fold down the score lines like so, it creates a little bit of a white edge. So I'm just going along the white edge with a coordinating marker. Now this is just a plain run-of-the-mill marker, darkening those lines so that they don't show up so much once my bag is assembled. You can barely see it, but there's a score line on these little tiny squares. And they should go from corner to corner. So I have 1 semicircle that has a cutout, and I have 1 semicircle that's solid. So I'm going to start with the solid one. So I have my little square piece with the fold in the center of it. I'm just going to put glue on half of that triangle. And then I'm going to fold my piece so that it forms a little triangle like so. And then I'm going to go to the other end where there's that little square again. I'm going to fold on the score line for the little square. I'm going to put glue on the part that's folded down, and then I'm just going to fold the cut edge in right along the edge like so. So it forms a little triangle. Now I'm going to flip my piece upside down. I'm working on the one that has the cutout, and I'm basically going to do the same thing. I'm going to put glue on half of that little square, fold it to the adjacent side to form a triangle. The other end, I'm going to fold down this square. I'm putting glue on this triangle, and then I'm adhering it to that piece at the end, and that forms a triangle for me. I'm just going to put glue on all these little tabs that look like little teeth. I'm just going to curl my piece around, following the edge of my circle, like so. I'm just going to go in there with my bone folder and just sort of push down on those tabs. I'm just going to put glue along the tab at the edge, glue my tab in. I'm just gluing it along. Now it doesn't go right up to the edge. There's a little bit of a gap there. And then I'm going to put glue all along the edge of the semicircle that's at the bottom. I'm just going to position this panel so that it's following the curve. And so that hole at the bottom is just there, so you can still gain access, and make sure you shape this the way that you want to. And then I have an extra piece that I'm just going to glue on to cover up that hole. I'm just gluing that down. And I've got a piece for the top as well. The big one goes together the same way, but it's a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to fold down on all those score lines, and then I'm coloring along the score lines again. This is the inside of my piece, so the wrong side of my piece. So I've got these two triangles that are folded down. I'm just putting glue on both of them, and I'm folding them inwards to the panel right beside them, flush with the top of that little slit, like so. Folding them over forms a little triangle like so. I'm doing that on both sides, right flush with that little cut edge there. This piece overlaps a little bit, but you can still see. So from the edge, there's the tab with the score line on it. There's another tab, and then there's a full tab here. It's about 1 inch long. Put glue on that. You want the corner of this piece, that the flap that comes down, so the little corner, you want it just at your score line, this score line. And I'm going to flip it around and do the same thing on the other side. I'm putting glue all along. This time it's from the other end because we're upside down. So 1, 2, third tab, and you're just bringing it so that the edge of that piece is, you want the corner of this piece to be just along this score line. Putting a little bit of pressure here to bring my tabs outwards. They're almost already in position, so I don't want them too far out. Putting a little bit of glue on the edge there, and then curving them so that they follow the edge of my piece. So this piece has to curve nicely so that it follows the curve of that flap that comes down. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. So I'm just putting glue on all those little teeth tabs. I'm just sneaking my glue underneath between those two layers. I'm curving this piece so that it follows the edge of that flap that comes down. Next, I'm just putting glue on the tab here and here. I'm tucking them under, and I'm just adhering them to the edge here, like so. I'm doing that for both of them. Just reaching in right now, and I'm just folding this tab upwards because it has a tendency to want to fold down. So now I have my little squares with that are folded into triangle shapes. I'm just going to put glue, not on the portion that's at the top, but the part that is downwards, like so, on both sides. I'm just going to glue it right up against the edge of my cut piece. Just going in there and going through the hole, and I'm just pressing so that glue takes the score line just up against the cut line, like so. And then I have this tab. I'm just going to put glue all along the tab, glue it in place. I want the top of my tab just to be at that triangle. I'm just going in there, making sure that it's adhering properly. I'm just going to grab those extra pieces for each end and glue them on. And then I have the third piece, and it goes together pretty much the same way. So next I'm going to assemble my golf clubs. There are 11 golf clubs in 4 different styles. So I have the base layer for my golf club, which is a gray layer of 110-pound cardstock, because I wanted something nice and sturdy as my base. And then I have one layer with the detail drawn on it, and then a mirror image to put on the back. So those 3 layers get adhered together, and that will form one style of golf club. and they all go together pretty much the same way. The only difference is for the larger clubs, you have your base layer, your decorated layer, the layer that's drawn on. Then you have an extra layer that goes at the bottom, an extra layer that goes on top. Originally, my thinking was this could be cut out of craft foam and make it thicker the way it would be in real life, because the larger clubs have a little bit more depth to them, but I opted for simplicity, and so I just made it just a tiny bit thicker. So I'm just going to match my different parts and assemble my 11 golf clubs. So next I'm assembling the pedestal that the box will sit on top of. I'm putting glue on the triangles and then bring my score line up to the cut line of the neighboring square, like so. And I'm going to do that all the way around. I'm going to take just one of these tabs, it doesn't matter which one, and I'm going to put glue on the tab. I'm going to take one of my octagons, I'm just gluing it to one of those tabs. I want the point of the octagon on both sides to be even with the score lines of my octagon shape. Then I'm going to put glue on the remainder of those trapeze shaped tabs. Position it so that the shape is right at the edge of my box all the way around. And then I'm going to flip my piece upside down, and I'm going in there with a bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, you can use a ruler or anything with a nice clean straight edge. And I'm just pressing down on those tabs. I'm just putting glue just around that octagon cutout and grabbing my other octagon shape, gluing it right over the hole like so. So next I'm going to embellish the base of my box. I have these pieces holding down on score line, and there's two tabs on the bottom score line, and there's these little score lines you just want to kind of fold. I'm putting glue on the outer panel that doesn't have the tab and fold it down. Training my paper a little bit between my thumb and my index finger to make the top portion curve a little bit. Just putting glue between those two score lines in that center rectangle, and then I'm just placing this piece on my box base. I want those score lines to be exactly on the edge of the score lines of my green base, and I want the edge of that piece that I just folded down to be just on the edge of my box. And I'm going to put glue on both edges and adhere it same way, making sure the score lines are even to keep it level at the top. I'm just gluing this piece to the rest of the perimeter. I'm just going to glue that contrasting piece, making sure that I'm keeping those holes open. So next I'm just going to glue the panel that closes off each half of the box base. I'm just putting glue all around that frame, gluing this panel on top. I'm going to do that with both of them. This is my gift card holder. So I have this very, very thin foam tape, and I have 2 layers of it on each side. And this is my gift card holder. I already put my gift card in the slots for the card, and it needs to fit between these 2 panels. I've got my second half. I'm going to glue this panel to the second half as well. I've got my gift card holder. I'm just putting one piece of foam tape below it so that if this gets shoved in too far, it doesn't go too far down. So I've taken the backing off my foam tape. I'm taking my 2 sides, making sure that they're flush on each side. And then I have these 2 pieces, and I'm just going to glue them on top of the seam just to hide the seam a little bit. I want to put my putter at the front, like so. So I'm going to put this pocket towards the front. I'm just putting glue all over the surface, gluing it to the side like so. Then I have the 2 pockets on each side. I'm going to glue them on as well. So now I have my box upside down, and I'm just going to glue on the pedestal on the bottom. I'm just putting glue all over the surface of my octagon, gluing it so that there's approximately an even border all the way around. I have my gift card holder, and I have one of my golf clubs. So I want my golf club to stick out about 3 inches above the top of my card, like so. I've got my card on the bottom. I've got one of my clubs. It's going to be inside and towards the outside. And I'm going to close my gift card holder, and I'm going to put glue on the gift card holder and position the other golf club like so. So when you put it inside, you've got the 2 center ones, which are basically the handle for the gift card. So next I have some little trim pieces that I'm going to add, and I have little zipper pulls. I thought that would be cute, having little zipper pulls dangle. String some embroidery floss through the holes in my zipper pulls and just leave them dangling like so.